Hello! We all know the PS2 is the best selling console of all time, but what's the best game on the PS2? I think a good contender is Ico, monstrously underselling when it was released in 2002. It's a great game. It's set in a castle, it's got two characters that can't talk to each other. Well, they can, but they don't understand each other. It's an action-adventure puzzle type game. Is it the best action-adventure game? No! Is it the best puzzle game? No! Is it the longest game? No! You can probably complete it in about 10 hours. And then replay value? Not really, unless you're like me and you're coming back to the game 20 years later. So, why do I say it's probably the best game on the PS2? Atmosphere. That's all it is. I love a happy game with an atmosphere. Let me explain.
Right from the start of the opening cutscene, it's atmospheric. You've got a young boy who's cursed with being born with horns, being taken to a castle. And that's where the game starts. He's interned in some form of Coptic jug, tied in there. They close it up and leave. He's left there to die. Luckily, the hero of our story promptly escapes, just like the A-Team. And that's it. Off on his adventures. Right at the beginning you meet the other character, Yolanda, who you then rescue. And that's it. You're off on an adventure. You've got your trusty stick, which is your opening weapon. It does level up, but it doesn't really do anything for the gameplay. The combat is very simplistic. It's mainly about atmosphere and puzzle solving. And that's it. Most of the time the characters run around holding hands, which really bonds you to the other character. Other times, like we see here, they have to separate so that Ico can make a path for Yolanda. This obviously is the famous windmill scene, which was used a lot in publicity back in the day, and also features obviously on the game's cover. All you can hear is ambient sound. There's no soundtrack, it's just the birds, the wind through the sails, and whatever sounds you make as you run around. Like I said, purely atmospheric. Graphically, it stood the test of time. This is a 20-year-old game, but it looks fresh, it looks new. It's the same art style of Shadow of the Colossus, and then later on The Last Guardian, all made by the same company, Blue Point Games. And there you are, pull the switch, make the path for Yolanda. Another thing that really bonds the two characters is you can call Yolanda over and she'll come to you. In this case, obviously she jumps and you have to help her up. And you continue onto other rooms, other puzzles and other paths. One thing coming back to this game I did find myself doing was constantly looking for secrets and collectibles. With this being a 20-year-old game, secrets and collectibles apparently weren't a thing. As far as I know, there aren't any. But overall, it's a great game. You should try it out. Since I've been making these videos for this channel, I've played a lot of retro games, and I'll be honest, most of them don't stand up to my memory. Ico, on the other hand, I think does. I think if you release this game today, as an indie title, it would sit right in there with all of the other smaller games that's coming out. It's just aged well, like a fine wine, you might say. So, if you've got PS2 and you've not played Ico, I strongly suggest you play Ico.